Partying is cool. Dying is not.
Welcome to the Digibowl on Fox Kids with your host, Terry Bradshaw.
Look at me. I get to host the first Digibowl. The first. Super Bowls, they come and go. But the Digibowl, now that's exciting stuff. But can't do it alone, so luckily I have two authentic Digi-Destins, Izzy and Kari, helping me. First, let's check in with my sideline correspondent, Kari. Maybe she can tell us what in the heck a Digibowl is.
Igor.
This Halloween, when you stock up on Pepsi and Doritos, you'll find coupons for savings on Hershey's candies. It's the perfect recipe for a...
Wicked.
Here's something to howl about. This week at Purity Supermarkets, specially marked Pepsi Cola 2 liters are just 89 cents.
Have sex, excel. Put my hands a yes. Put my best a best. Put my 10 a 10. Or put my spend a spend. Have sex, excel. Ultimately fully casual. Full. Betting and it's time the best. Wanna have you near me? I wanna have you hear me say it.
こんにちは。ボンバットファミリーと私たちのライブ放送へようこそ。私たちはあなたの視聴とリスニングの喜びのための素晴らしいショーを持っています。今あなたのホスト、スコッティ・ジェイロとジェリー・ケーブルに Stay Bombad を楽しんで覚えておいてください。
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What's up, everybody? It's me, your boy, the Cannon Junkie. Welcome one and all to yet another wonderful Bombad Thursday. And yes, no, sadly, Scotty is not with us. He didn't die or anything. He's fine. He's totally fine. He's on a kiss cruise. Yes, him and his neighbor Paul, they left. They went to actually we should get that picture uploaded on here to show. But you know, Scotty and Paul, they're having a good time. I think Paul has tried. I think he tried to sneak a Wendy's Frosty machine in his suitcase onto the boat, and so that they had to like stop. I think in like the Maldives for like a week, like a couple of days, actually. Like they really like kind of put the cruise on pause. So I don't know. Scotty might be back next week, hopefully. But it's good to be here with you all. Again, welcome to another episode of the Bombadcast, the last episode of spooky season. Yes, welcome, Chase. Yes. I hope that you all have had your thrills, chills, and plenty of laughs and bombadery Bombadassery. Is that a way? But that's what we're gonna say it like that. That's what we're gonna say. But again, yeah, here we go. Bombadcast. This is what you're here. A weekly Star Wars experience live every 8 p.m. Central on a Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're nasty. We also don't. We don't just do that though. Every Wednesday, except for this past Wednesday, because Scotty again was sailing around the Bermuda Triangle. We do a little show. Scotty does a little show called Bombad Gaming, where he sits down and plays any number of games. It could be backgammon, shoots and ladders, sometimes Candyland, the occasional Hungry Hippos. But it's great. It's a good time. You should come check it out. Me and Scotty have even played on there before, and hopefully we might be able to work something out when he gets back. We might be doing a little something, makes us feel good called, ghost busting. We'll have to see. Don't quote me on that, but I already said it. So anyway, and then every other week, actually this week, Hyperfocus returns with guest Nikki Kumar from the Imperial Senate podcast. Great friends of the show, just great friends in general. And like, I seriously can't wait to sit down with Nikki. And like, we've never really had the chance to like sit down, just the two of us and kind of chat. So I'm super excited to do that. But listen, all that's just gravy. You're here for the main event tonight, by the way. And real quick, by the way, we have a Patreon. And if you, if you want to, I don't know, pay us for the fart jokes and, the random turning on our own YouTube stream, on our own YouTube live stream and creating something that would creating a spectacle that would make the cast of Inception, I think, shit their pants. Guys, go join our Patreon. It's $7 a month. It's just one base price, and you get access to all of this. Again, you're only allowed in the group chat if you are 18 and up, just saying, because we don't like going to jail. So yeah, but anyway, guys, check out the Patreon. And speaking of which, a Patreon, we're gonna be recovering. We're gonna be covering Andor this week's episode and next week's episode at the same time next week, I believe. But yeah, we got a lot of good stuff in the works. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. How about a little Canon Junkie Corner this Saturday afternoon? Maybe. Let me know, guys. Let me know what y'all think. We might be reading a little bit more of the Galaxy of Fear series. But all of that being said, as a wise man many times has said, I'm going to bring in my guest host. I don't know. Listen, this is a guest. They are a guest host, but they're also, I think, one of the most incredible siblings I think I've ever came across within my, my time upon this plane of existence we call Earth and, life in general. But you know what? I'm going to stop waxing philosophical and sounding like I just came from the I don't know, the Turquoise Valley in the Sedona, Arizona. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my co-host, my sibling from another Wibbling. It's Boop.
Hey, mate. Who invited you here?
How dare you? How dare you say such nice things about me in this poorly lit room? Let me fix that. There we go.
All right, here we go. Okay, so to fix that, yes, the greatest piece of shit I've ever had the displeasure to scrape off my shoe. Boop! Welcome.
You.
I would say, listen, been worse things about me. It's fine. It's fine. So, welcome.
I've said horrible, terrible things about you to your face.
Right.
Lovingly.
Well, that's the way you should. That's the way you should,
Is that not how you value your friends? I am doing just delightful because it is my season. I am the spooky friend, and I see in the chat
great season.
Just things that make me feel such like warm feelings inside and make me want to throw up a little bit. Hi, Shauna.
Wall stretching.
Oh no, it's just a trick of the camera.
Yeah, it's if you've been on the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney World or Disneyland, I've not been on the Disneyland version, but it's
that's right in the
smoke
park.
and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Yes. Cheers. What are you drinking tonight? We'll go ahead and do this like we did off air.
I am drinking motor oil, arsenic, and it's
gotta keep lubricated.
Gotta keep lubricated, man. Just you just gotta get the vocal cords flowing, I'm ready to become a ghost,
Yes, right. Well, and this is a cup of Drano right here. No, I'm just kidding.
Excellent.
So I've got spiked cider, which might become more apparent as the show goes on. Also getting ready shortly after spooky season for Ryan Johnson's Glass Onion.
You got to say it right. It's Glass Onion.
Glass Onion. I'm going to need to watch Knives Out before I go watch that. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. So Boop, you have kind of been helping me plan this whole spooky season, and we kind of do spooky season a little different than most Star Wars podcasts on the Bombadcast. We started kind of just doing one off like a couple of years ago, like a creepypasta, Star Wars creepypasta episode that kind of has become right. With the spooky spaghetti, I can't think of a synonym for creepy and then a pasta that it rhymes with. I'm saying
scary spaghetti.
Yeah, there you go.
Nom on it.
Creepy cavatappi.
I think that's the pasta that looks like nipples, and so I'm into it.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it? Or is that
was the curly? One? That was the curly macaroni.
Chat, what's the one that looks like nipples?
It's a curly tube. It's a duck dick. It's a duck penis.
There you go.
Is the cavatappi. That's what.
That's the one. Only.
Oh, that's ooh. Listen. Whenever I order from Noodles and Company, I usually get the pesto cavatappi. Or something like that. It's pesto and all that kind of. Anyway, you guys came here to listen to this. Okay, this is what you came here for.
Hear us wax poetic about noodles.
Exactly. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna try to describe figure out which noodle we're talking about by which animal phallus it resembles the most.
Carlucci, is that what it is? Is the Carluccios or whatever?
Really?
I think. I don't know. There's a lot of people that I worked with at Barnes & Noble in the chat tonight because I invited them.
Well, welcome. It's good to see you guys. Yeah. Well, Boop, I think that something that we wanted to do, because again, so we've been kind of doing this thing at Bombadcast, and this year I was like, I want to get Boop in on this with me because we're both very kind of creepy. Like, I'll give you this season. This is your season, but I'm a pretty creepy person myself. Like creepy adjacent at the least, right?
I love to stand outside of kindergartens. Yes.
Right. Yeah. We were the ones that the other kids were like, they have a storm cloud over them, like literally like a cartoon. Like, what is going on? We were the Addams Family children, but anyway, exactly. But another reason that we kind of have been thinking about doing this is for the past half a year, maybe more. We have really kind of been throwing around the idea of doing a show together. And I don't know if you want to kind of explain sort of what we are thinking about doing to the people. And then we'll give a title reveal maybe at the end, because there could be a show coming, possibly. Boop and Gerry show. What does the chat think about that? Like that, coming to a podcast platform near you, not anything connected to, I think, either one of our shows, but something new, something different, something separate.
Inspired by Daddy.
Our first reaction.
We have decided to start an OnlyFans.
Yes. Yeah.
But only pictures and posts.
Right. Well, and toenail pics. That's it.
Exactly. Not ours.
No.
Someone's.
Found, reclaimed.
Exactly. This,
But yeah,
this is going to be amazing. So, yeah, we have been throwing around the idea like a spooky basketball, a pumpkin, maybe. It fits in line with the season.
Some will say.
For a
My
while.
camera to work.
No, it's ghosts, Jerry. You didn't say the ritual right, and now you're haunted.
It's fine. I mean, it's been like that for a little bit anyway. So you get used to the moans and wails at night. Sometimes,
and sometimes it's
the neighbors. Sometimes it's the neighbors having loud ruckus sex. Sometimes it's just the banshee with the chains coming out of the closet. Who knows? It's either way. It's fine.
Good for them, honestly. Yeah. Very proud.
Up top, put my hand on the floor and go, "Hey, up top, guys. There you go."
When will it be time? Anyway, so yes, we've been throwing around the spooky basketball. Some may say a pumpkin of doing a podcast for a while that is solely based on our friendship that is kind of held together by the spooky stuff and also trauma and many other things.
Lots of trauma. Mental health, things of that.
That's true.
Yeah, but kind of like with a very paranormal bent and everything, because that's something that we are both very intrigued with. Is
that's 90% of our text messages.
Oh man, like we sending things to each other that would only get the side eye emoji from a lot of other people and things, which we'll get into in a sec. But yeah, but like all kinds of we're interested in like real life paranormal stuff. Like I don't know about you, I was watching sightings on Sci-Fi Channel back in the 90s when I was a kid, even when I was Absolutely. A born again Christian who didn't really need to get involved in the hat, but it still fascinated me, the idea of ghosts, cryptids. High strangeness is a big one for us, and UAPs or UFOs for the layman. But that kind of stuff really pops our cork, so to speak. And so, listen, we are really trying to get this thing off the ground, and we want you guys to hold us accountable. This is sort of the announcement soft launch on Bombadcast here. So if you enjoy kind of the chemistry, what's going on here, and you want to hear us talk about spooky things and also mental health and things like that along with it, just different things like that, So
you're both wildly mentally ill.
Very, very, almost to a fault. Almost to a fault. No, it is a fault. Almost. But it's fine. But no, and listen, I don't have like a logo or anything. Like we haven't got. Listen, we just have a title, frankly, right now, and the ideas that we've thrown around. And I don't know, Boop, if you want, would you like to reveal the title?
I would love to. I'm going to pull it up just so I get the phrasing correct.
Okay, all right, right, yeah, because we came up with like a little tagline too. Again, this is all still kind of it, but the title is the title. So
exactly. The title is Weirdin' Out, a podcast about the weird, for the weird, by the weird. Because we are very weird.
Extremely. Probably the weirdest of all of our friends and all the people who, do stuff on twitter.com. At least I think we like to think that we are. We don't be all like, oh, we're going to be nice in the chat. It's like, no, you're not. No, we are holding this title. It's the one thing we have. Don't take it away from us. Okay?
I will fist fight every single one of you for that title.
And yes, give you absolutely. So again, guys, please keep us. Again, we're putting it on your shoulders now. You got to be like, hey, where's the first episode of Weirdin' Out?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm looking at you, Chase. We need that accountability.
We need it because we, again, two ADHD kids. Listen, we're 20 minutes in and we haven't even talked about the thing that we said we were going to talk about. So, I mean, listen, this is a preview. It is a preview. So get ready, But anyway, Weirdin' Out. Check it out. And again, you'll find nothing out there. Please don't steal our title. And create your own show, pretend to steal our identities and things of that nature. That's just not, listen, cloning is not legal yet that I know of.
It's generally frowned upon.
It's pretty frowned upon in most societies, unlike cannibalism. But
I mean, when will the cannibalism start? We've been teasing it for years.
It is what it is. I don't know. Like it's coming someday. I'm pretty sure. But anyway.
And if you have ideas for the show, by the way, please.
Topics you want us to cover from like actual accounts from people. We really kind of dig the high strangeness stuff. So you're probably going to hear again a lot about our Lord and Savior Mothman. You're probably going to hear a little bit about.
He stays with me all the time.
Oh yes, praise be. You might hear about some goblins, some Kelly Hopkinsville goblins. You might hear a little bit about just different things, UAPs, ghosts, different, like whatever. We might talk about Skinwalker Ranch, different, big events like that, that are really cool things. There's actually, I found out a really big like UFO sighting in the 90s happened in my town. You can watch an entire episode of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. One of the new episodes is about these UFO sightings in Michigan. It is in my county, my town, Holland, Michigan. You can see a big overhead map of where I live. It's great. Please don't come kill me. I did not mark my location in that episode because they did not ask me. But stuff like that. And so, let us know, please. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Chase. Oh, yes. Yes, we got to get to the bottom of it. And also the fact that there have been Mothman sightings in Chicago recently.
Yeah.
Chase, I don't know if you've been hearing a lot about the Chicago Mothman over the last several years.
Coming to see you in Claire.
He's coming, and hopefully, I don't like Mothman's cool. I don't like that the Mothman saga ended with a bridge collapsing because that makes me go, maybe get the hell out of Chicago.
But what are bridges for if not to collapse?
Is he a harbinger or is he just the guy trying he's a daddy and he was just at the right place at the wrong time. That's what it was. That's all it is. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, maybe it is Chase. Who knows?
Chase. They're the drama.
Yes.
They're the disaster that we all love.
The perfect one. Oh, you are half moth. Oh my god. We're gonna have to interview
He's
Brian.
been here the entire time. Right in front of us.
Everyone is coming to Chicago. Mothman included. Let's see. Hold on. What we got here? The monster smut I've been reading has been prepared from.
You've been spending too much time with Reagan. I
have heard. In fact, on last podcast on the left, a favorite of ours, like they read some Mothman erotica in one episode, and let me say, I mean, it honestly isn't that bad. It was pretty steamy. But it was also very, if you are not ready for monster, pardon my French kids, if you're not ready for monster fucking, you might want to steer clear. But get with the program. Get with the 90s. Get with the
launch yourself into the 90s,
kids. Yeah. Hip. We're hip. Anyway.
I am so hip I can't see over my pelvis, Gerry.
Exactly. That's pretty wow, that's damn hip.
That is a line from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yes.
To get this whole thing kind of kicked off, 25 minutes in. Tonight we're talking about our real life paranormal experiences. Both of us have had paranormal experiences, despite what people might think. And there's a lot that kind of comes with saying I've had a paranormal experience. I think that it can sometimes people can like go, oh, okay. Because if you haven't seen something, the default for a lot of people is to go like to look down their nose and kind of things that. We don't want to disparage anyone for if it's not your cup of tea, you don't really like want to look into it. That's fine. Again, I wouldn't yuck anyone else's yum, but there are a lot of things that kind of go into it. And I guess the question I want to start us out with tonight is, why are you so interested in the paranormal? Like what interests you the most about this kind of area dark corner of the universe, maybe that I don't know, that keeps you coming back to it, that fascinates you so much?
That is a very good question. Well, I mean, I was raised very religious, which
Same.
I know.
It's almost like it kind of fucks you up a little bit. No.
A little bit. Like, it's religious trauma is just the spice of life, you know? It just makes everything.
Absolutely.
Just,
makes you see
so
little
much
green
better.
men. It's fine. You know? No,
Exactly.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I mean,
see, I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing now. Please continue.
if I can believe in Sky Daddy, I can believe in everything else. Like, quite honestly, why not?
Sky's the limit, you know?
Sky is the limit. Sky Daddy is also the limit. Just praise be Sky Daddy Mothman. But yeah, I was raised very religious. Both of my parents are pastors, and one of the things that you grow up learning about is, of course, hell. Obviously, it's a big part of it. Book of Revelations, the second coming of Christ, like all of this stuff that was, if I can be honest, fear-mongering. Like, that is a lot of Christianity in general, is making people... Exactly. It is so scary. And
it's metal as hell and horror-filled.
Exactly. That is 100% what it is this would not be as alluring as it is if you did not just make it sound so damn metal. Like, come on, man. Like, that is essentially what got me into it.
I have to make socks for all eternity or something. Like, if it, like I have to knit socks for all eternity, but you get if that's your thing, that's fine. You know, whatever.
Listen, reading the book, The Divine Comedy, as a youth, it was meant to be like a, you know, listen closely, kids. This is the cautionary tale. I'm reading that and reading about all the levels of hell, and I'm just like, that sounds so freaking dope. Like, come on, man. Like, why wouldn't I want to be cool with the devil?
There's an entire level for gluttony? Hell yeah.
Right? No. There's people sticking up out of the ground with their feet just out. Like, that's awesome. And then, you know, I went to Catholic school briefly as a kid. They did the Stations of the Cross every year around Easter time, which if you've ever experienced that, oh boy, is that just a theater experience. It is so campy. It is high camp. I love it so much. But yeah,
I love that. You gotta love the high camp.
Gotta love the high camp. They are putting their whole jizzocy into that performance, and you just gotta sit there in the pew and just like.
I hope Scotty's students aren't watching.
I hope they are.
Listen, we're gonna get Scotty fired tonight. Okay,
we're gonna get him fired.
Tell Father Francis or whoever. I don't know who.
It was Father Thomas. Father Thomas was the one that
close
invited me into his office fairly regularly. Not in that way.
Okay.
But
sorry.
No.
I was getting more nervous than a pastor at a playground there for a second. Oof. Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
please continue.
Part of the story is that my father was raised Catholic, and so he had a lot of that, like, instilled into him, and a lot of the fear of hell, a lot of the angels and the demons and all that kind of thing, which he, you know, by the point he met my mom, my dad was almost a priest, by the way. He he met my mom the summer before he was supposed to go to whatever. I don't remember the word for it. And that's what kind of got him off that track, but he still became a pastor.
Right. Yeah. But the kind that can bone. Sorry. Exactly. My bad. I'm sorry.
I mean, he had 4 kids. So it had to happen. I mean,
can you blame him, you know?
My brothers are twins, so technically only confirmed 3 times.
We have two people making a seminary joke.
So we were talking before.
Y'all are nasty.
Before we went live, talking about how sacrilegious this is gonna get. Yeah, I think we're already there.
Listen, guys. We've reached level. I think we're at the 10th level of hell, which I think is a pretty sick bar, right? Chase was saying earlier. I think that's
so.
like a pretty. Yeah, every ring is a different bar on the strip. One ring for every mood/vibe.
Hell's hottest bar has everything.
Yes.
Beelzebub. Baphomet.
Oh no, Dragon Knife. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't know. Someone send Dragon Knife money so they can get new headphones.
Right over there. That seems to work.
Yeah. Or just charge them. Maybe that might work too.
But
anyway.
But yeah.
But
what was I talking about?
We were talking about what kind of draws you to this kind of stuff. Which again, religious trauma. I mean,
big time.
You grow up saying you have to have something to believe in. And then we talked earlier about like how, when you see something that challenges your view of reality and your belief system, it's almost like you almost have to believe in something no matter if you believe in something or not, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
And so, and I'm not trying to say like, well, this, we traded religion for this stuff, because I think there's something to this stuff that is a little more, it seems like a natural part of whatever existence is. If that makes any sense.
I mean, honestly,
falling off my head.
But who is the Gerry Cannon junkie without his hat? It's just a dude.
I'm just a dude with hair now.
Good God.
But anyway,
you get to a point where, in a lot of, adulthood, and if you reach a point of spiritual deconstruction, you get to a point where it's just like, that doesn't sound right a lot of the time. And, that is a whole other ball of rats that make up a rat king that is religious trauma.
It is the rattiest of all the rat kings, some might say. So, but, well, and so I don't know if I guess a little bit of growing up religious kind of has drawn me to it, but at the same time, I think part of it is just that I've always been a nerd, and I've really liked. Okay, so one of the first things I ever got into, and I found out. Well, I'll get into exactly how I got into this in a sec. So one of the biggest things I was into at the beginning of my small life was Ghostbusters. And if you can't tell, I've got Ecto here. I've got like a big coffee table book up back there. I've got a like, I don't know if it's the Gatekeeper or the Keymaster, but I've got a terror dog in that one right there.
Amazing.
In that little cabinet. But so I kind of was already into like that kind of stuff. It scared me, and my parents were not scary movie people. I didn't watch my first scary movie till I was well into my preteens, and it was Signs, which isn't even a really like, it's creepy. It's a good movie. It's got really creepy. It's got moments that are like horrifying to me, like some of the scariest moments I've ever seen in anything. But at the same time, it's not like a Friday the 13th or anything like that. It's a different feel. But I don't. So I guess that spookiness kind of got into me a little bit early, because I mainly watched the cartoon. Found out my mother, I had vague memories of watching what I thought was Ghostbusters 3 for most of my life, but then I grew up and realized there's not a Ghostbusters 3. And I asked my mom recently, did you guys take me to see Ghostbusters 2 in theaters? And they're like, oh yeah, your cousin Joey, who's like 18 years older than me, or whatever. He not 18 years. He was older than me though. And like, hey, your cousin Joey had liked it. And so we took you to it and everything. I was 3 when that movie came out. And again, I'm not saying like, parent how you will, but again, I think that the weirdness got into me fairly young and everything. And then of course I got into Star Wars. I was into sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. When I got into college, I started watching more stuff like The Thing, got into more horror. So I guess my gateway was kind of like movies and everything. but kind of liking that spooky, like, oh, what is out there? You know, if there's God up in heaven, devil in hell, and demons and stuff, what else is out there? You know, what else is real? And I would watch sightings on, we talked a little bit about sightings in our Sally House episode with Scotty for Beyond Bombad. And, you know, like I would just like sit in my room and watch this show as a young boy, like, you know, getting myself creeped out, wanting to change the channel because like, this is really scary. But also glued because it's fascinating. It's very fascinating because, you know, for every fake story, for every 5 fake stories, there's at least 2 that are like you can't prove that it was fake. Like it's like legit. There's something happening. There's something going on there. Oh, bye, Buck. Have a good night, friend. Thanks for stopping by. The Father, Son, and Holy Ghostbuster. Exactly.
I'm buying you a T-shirt with that on it.
Oh God, I need that. Thank you. But no, so I don't know, like that. So I guess that's kind of the impetus for me is just I was just a nerd, and I just kind of like found that stuff fascinating, and I don't know if it was Ghostbusters, but just like being able to kind of go. Now looking back, like Ghostbusters is like that's the ultimate like paranormal investigator like superhero like franchise right there. Like that's like legit because like again like Dan Aykroyd's family have been paranormal investigators and hunters forever. Like his generations of Dan Aykroyd's family are like his grandfather I think wrote this tome that's basically Tobin's Spirit Guide. It's basically like Tobin's Spirit Guide. Anyway, I don't have the information, but like, yeah, there's a lot kind of going into that. So I don't know if it was kind of that and learning later on, but just like I've slowly become more and more and more interested over the years, you know, and especially the experiences that I've had have only deepened. It only makes you go, what was that?
Yeah.
My brain has no possible explanation for that. It wasn't X. It wasn't Y. It wasn't Z.
Yeah.
What letter comes after that? Because
it must have been something in between.
Yes, right. But anyway, real quick again, before we get into, we are going to get into our experiences, guys. But yes. We also kind of wanted to touch on some things about how, you know, I know sometimes you hear, oh, I saw a UFO, I saw a ghost, and you kind of go, right. Mm-hmm. Even though the U.S. government has basically come out and said, like, yeah, no, there's shit in the sky, we don't know what it is. And we were talking about this earlier, how even that happened. And I mean, for one thing, Republicans, stay the hell away. You don't have to stop using it as a shield. There's legitimate concerns. Stop using it as a shield that you started a coup.
You're not invited to the Ghost BJ party.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, we don't want you. The ghosts don't want you. They're like, get those guys. Those guys are weird.
No, who wants you? The old Civil War ghosts, and that's it.
Just the Southern ones. That's it. That really is it.
The traitors.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we are you'll still have like, oh no, I said like Good Morning America going like, you know, oh, men from space, a grandma from Tahoe recently saw what appears to be a flying hubcap. Let's discuss. And I mean, it still is treated with that winky nod, like this is a puff piece, when there's legit kind of weird phenomena that again can't be explained, and the government, whoever, can't explain, and they don't know what to do, and they all they say is like, yep, we just know it ain't us. So disconcerting maybe, but not just that, like everything though, but like it can always kind of come with like a little bit of a nose turn up, like people looking down their nose at you, like when you say you've seen something and they go, oh sure, well maybe it was just this. How many times, Boop, when you've told your story, have people been like, well, maybe it was this, maybe it was that? Like I've had people say like, maybe it was a plane or whatever, which I'm like, I went through that already. I went through that. And if it was, it was the craziest pilot in the effing world, in the weirdest plane I've never seen since. But
you have no idea how many times I've told the story that I will tell in a little bit. Even when I got home to my parents, like I said, hey, I experienced something, and my dad was like, I'm sure it was nothing. Like, yeah, you'll be fine. Just go take a nap, that kind of thing. And as I've gotten older, and as I've kind of shared that story with people throughout the years, as we're telling ghost stories, as you do, in the Midnight Society, you know, throwing sand into the fire pit or whatever.
Absolutely.
I've gotten a lot of reactions of, that doesn't sound right. Surely there's, you know, there's something. Even talking about like Annabelle, who I have right over here.
Right.
Your demon. My little demon, my little buddy. She lives in my house. Like, even like explaining what has happened with that. I've had people be like, are you sure? Like, stuff just fall off shelves sometimes. You know, maybe you've got uneven ground in your house. Like, whatever.
How many times is it like is the uneven ground going to be a thing? It's like, do we not? Can we not level things anymore? Are your bubbles out of whack? Like in your little leveler thing? Like, what the hell?
The shelves are level. The floor is level. We are not in an incline. Stuff just falls off the shelf sometimes. And it's always the same, like 3 or 4 things. And that I cannot explain. Why isn't everything falling off the shelf? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, there's, I think, an impulse in a lot of people to immediately just be like, nah, I don't think so. And thankfully, there are people out there who do not have that impulse. Like some of my friends that I worked with at Barnes & Noble. Like, that was one of the first times I've ever told that story to my friend Angel, who I adore. They're spectacular. And been met with, oh, really? Instead of, you know, oh, really? You know.
Well, do you think you just left the TV on?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. You know, but okay, well, and it's all that aside. We say take this stuff, I guess, with a grain of salt, but don't be polite when people tell you this kind of stuff, because like there's a lot of it's kind of a very what is it, what would you call it, it's kind of a something that happens a lot where people just kind of relegate this stuff to just the crazies and the people who, you know, like people who are untrustworthy, like who drink a lot and stuff like that, like and smoke, like are on the drugs. They're the ones that see this kind of stuff. And I was stone sober with everything I saw because I did not start my drinking and everything else until after I'd seen all the stuff and after my divorce and stuff. So, you know, now I'm sounding like the crazy guy at the like in the diner, but you know, it is what it is.
Like the fun crazy guy. Like, I trust you to warn me of impending doom, like, because you know what's going on. And like, I was a heavily medicated child. I was on like Ritalin for a while and Adderall, but I was also fully awake when stuff happened. So, you know, I don't put too much salt in, you know, maybe it was medication.
Right. Well, yeah, a little bit. And, you know, I mean, so we can kind of get into some of the other kind of stuff, I guess, a little bit later. Maybe we should kind of dive into our experiences now because, I mean, we got people chomping at the bit. Adrian, I'm starting to wonder if you're a Men in Black, sir. Are you?
Might be.
Are you a government agent?
Have you bugged our phones?
Have
you heard a clicking sound during our conversations, Jerry?
I don't know. It's strange. Anyway, but we should probably get into this. You know, like there's other things we can kind of talk about. How, you know, there's a lot of bad stuff that kind of goes into the paranormal field and everything. A lot of people like put a lot of their bad baser in like instincts into their baser natures, such as racism, homophobia, and anti-Semitism is a big one that I don't know why is so stuffed into this hot pocket.
Good God.
Get it out. Get it out.
Nazi hot pocket. Who ordered the Nazi hot pocket? I don't understand.
No, I don't want Nazi hot pocket with my paranormal stuff because it's not that. This can be a respective field. There's a lot of good people, but there need to be more voices, more diverse voices who are lifted up to the forefront because I don't know, maybe at least 50% of MUFON voted for Trump. I'm guessing have to be, but whatever. 60%, good 60%. It is what it is. But listen, so let's get into our experiences. And I don't know if, I mean, would you like to start? Would you like me to start? Because I don't know. I don't want to we didn't write any show notes, guys. So this is what we're doing.
Absolutely none. This is off the cuff. It's off the meds. It's off a lot of things. But yeah, I can go first.
Go for it. Let's get your experience. I don't know if you want to. You know what? I'm going to stay on screen with you because I think it's an emotional support buddy is needed.
It's comforting. Like honestly, I just like having you around, buddy. It's great.
It is what it is. Hey, you got it, Boop. You got it. Hey. But anyway, so Boop, what is your paranormal experience that kind of maybe made you change your perception of reality and the way that things are?
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about the big one first because that, like you said, it changed my perspective completely. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, we lived in Greensboro, North Carolina, which like I said, I grew up a pastor's kid. We moved all over the southern United States. So like pretty much everywhere I've lived.
Right.
Except for Florida and Texas. But that's neither here nor there. But in that house in Greensboro, it was a very weird vibe. Like that was the house where I had a lot of my my sleep paralysis episodes, like where I would wake up in the middle of the night. Like you probably heard of sleep paralysis if you are uninitiated. Basically, you are in a state between waking and sleep where you cannot move. A lot of the time, you cannot speak, and it is terrifying to be in, honestly. And if you're a little kid, it's oftentimes incredibly nightmarish. Just terrifying. Yeah, I used to have experiences where I would see someone at the base of my bed, just hunched over, sitting there, and that was it. They wouldn't move. I could never make out features in their face or anything, but it felt like someone was really there. And sometimes I would hear breathing and stuff like that. Hissing of snakes sometimes too, which was terrifying. Oh yeah,
maybe
I had a lot
delicious of if you could smell it. If you could smell it, like, okay, what you cooking?
You guys making fajitas? That's my sleep paralysis demon.
Ooh, deep cooking.
It's a little spicy, but you know what? It's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
So I was dealing with that. Exactly. Gotta have the spooky Tony Sacheries. Gotta have that extra spicy.
Gotta have that.
Gotta have that. That and a little bit of garlic powder on your.
A little crushed baby soul on there as well. I think maybe it's like the veal of hell.
Some virgin blood. Ooh, it's so buttery.
Maybe.
So yeah, I was dealing with that as a kid. And like I said, my parents moved around a lot, so it was a time of stress, I will say. And well, at that house in Greensboro, there was a forest that stretched out from our backyard across the neighborhood to my friend Jenna's backyard. So, of course, being a kid in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think it was like 2000, I don't remember. Don't ask me to do math on this show. This is not a show for math.
The early aughts.
Yes, exactly. You know, back when we could still walk to people's houses without, fear of getting abducted. Back in the olden days, back and forth, shoeless, uphill, in the snow, broken glass.
We only drink from the water hose.
Exactly.
Did not buckle up either.
Absolutely not. Just loose in a minivan. That was how we rode to church. I'm not joking.
Like a box of milk duds.
Exactly. oh man, that was okay. So I have alluded to this a few times on various podcasts. That was also the forest where we found the bag of porn. Just a giant trash bag. Very active. I don't know if whatever put that bag there was what I experienced, but So, I would walk through that forest fairly regularly. It was incredibly linear. Sometimes you could even ride your bike through it on clear days. So I'm walking through the woods to my friend Jenna's house. She was right across. I could see her house from our backyard. And as I'm walking,
sorry,
there is a bag of porn in every forest. Just go look for it. As I'm walking, I start hearing footsteps behind me. It's in the middle of fall, so like there's crunchy leaves. I like to go out of my way to get the crunchiest leaves. So, I know where I know like what the leaves sound like. And it's like a half step behind me. So I turn around and look around. Oh, it is.
I've already got the heebie-jeebies.
I turn around and there's nothing. There's no one there. Like I peeked around a couple of trees and nothing. And so I'm just like,
Did you start running?
No. It was the middle of the day too. So I thought I was safe.
Yeah.
I started walking again and it sounded closer. Every time I would stop, it would stop. And then I would start walking again and it sounded closer. And like that was when I'm almost to her house. I started hearing breathing. And it was like labored breathing. And then I started running as fast as I could to her house. And I got there and I am obviously scared out of my freaking mind because I don't know what was behind me in that forest. And like as soon as I got there, I looked around. There was nothing there.
Oh my God.
And so when it was time to go home, I called my mom to come pick me up because there was no way I was walking back through that forest. And I never did again. Like I stopped taking that route to her house. I took the 15-minute route through the street instead of the 5-minute route through the forest. Right. And to this day, that even telling that story, it like gives me a tightness in my chest. Like it sucks because that is absolutely terrifying. And you get home that night and you are, saddled with the knowledge that something was out there. And I don't know what that was. I could think about it. I try not to, but it could have been one of my brothers, trying to scare me. I am the youngest of 4 kids, but
they're a freaking Navy SEAL.
Exactly. There is no way anybody was in that forest with me. And yet it could have been a predator. I don't know. Like the actual alien, not the
labored breathing, like an out of shape predator. Like he's like, he hasn't got his cardio in lately.
Predator the later years.
Right.
But yeah, that was what kind of launched me into not just the fascination of watching Ghost Adventures or that kind of ilk on the History Channel when my parents go to bed, or reading about cryptids in the books that I wasn't supposed to read. It went from that to this is real. And I experienced something. And that is going to change the way I interact with the world. And it has.
Absolutely. Well, and like you were talking about like telling that story gives you a tightness in your chest. Like I'm going to get that way whenever I start telling mine, because when you experience something that is this, I don't want to even say unearthly, but I mean, from what we know from your day to day, when you experience something this like, off, it gives you like, cause it was just you and that.
Mm-hmm.
in a place for a while.
It sounds like a Stephen King story. Like,
Yeah,
I'm fully aware of that. But it is so, like, vivid in my mind because,
right,
like, that was screwed up, man.
It's very, it never gets easier to tell. It never gets easier to tell. It's always just like you're right back. You put yourself right back into it, honestly. But I don't know about you. For me, it's like I want to tell people about it.
Absolutely.
I feel like I want to share it because, for one thing, I don't want to sit alone with the knowledge in my head. Maybe is part of it. But also, like, I don't even know. It feels good to have a little bit of validation when you can find someone who gives you validation. Because again, like we said, there are many people who will just kind of, turn their nose up at you and go, well, are you sure that like someone didn't just jump down real quick under the leaves and cover themselves up as you were turning around, like in the split second it took for you to turn around? I'm sure, or were you one of those slow motion kids or something?
I was one of those fast motion kids. Like, if you've ever seen that one movie where it's Red Riding Hood and there's the squirrel and they drink coffee. I was actually living in that Quicksilver moment. For most of my childhood. But that's what Adderall does,
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that's exactly what Adderall does. Yeah, you know, walking around, like I'll flip a pancake and then kind of like, push it a little bit, while it's in midair. It's great.
It makes me talk to Manhattan sometimes, like.
Right, yeah. We sit alone saying, I'm tired of this place, these people. they're non-neurodivergents.
You know what? I think that was actually the side effect of Ritalin. So, mixed up a little.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, that's terrifying. But I guess I'll share my big one, and I mean, maybe we can kind of like get into some of the smaller stories, but maybe we could also like save some of the stuff for some of the stuff we could save for our show, but like also like, I don't know, let's just have the conversation. But so you experienced something that was, I think it sounds more ghost-like than anything.
I think so. It didn't feel tangible, but it also wasn't like, it wasn't a vapor. I was not overcome with a fatigue.
Right. Well, and I won't get into grand unified theory too much right now or anything, but like it's very, but because like there's a lot of places where there's a lot of times, a lot of these big cases and everything, like the Mothman and even Skinwalker Ranch, where they had a bunch of activity. You have like poltergeist activity, doors opening and closing, as well as UFOs, as well as invisible creatures, as well as like different things like that. And so it almost seems like it's all kind of interconnected, holding hands, walking through the cracks in our universe. Whoever wants to. And it also, a lot of people are like, well, why can't you catch this kind of stuff? It seems like and what is the point? It seems like sometimes the point is it just wants you to see it, which sounds very simple and like a cop out at first, but when you think about it, it's the creepiest freaking thing in the world. Because this, whatever it is that seems sort of conscious, it is only manifesting so that you see or hear it, that you experience it. That's the only reason. I'm getting the heebie-jeebie chills doing that. I'm going to turn my fan off too, because I think that's another part of it. So my experience, my big one that kind of sent me off, and again, I was working for a church at the time when this happened. Again, I was one of the sober ones. I was not one of the cool pastors who was drinking, because I was kind of like all in for it at the time. But I had this deal where I was still in college, but my friends who I went to college with they'd recently got married and started working. They moved to a town 45 minutes away and started working at a church, and they needed like someone to teach youth class and lead singing and stuff like that, because we didn't, we did a cappella stuff. We didn't do any instruments, because I won't get into my religious trauma anymore. But I would go there on a Saturday or even like a Friday, like depending on when I worked or not, like when I would get off work on a Saturday, I would head down and spend the night with my friends. So I wouldn't have to drive so early in the morning, and I would stay all day Sunday and go back like Sunday evening after church, probably really late because I would stay. We would we loved to watch Sci-Fi Channel original movies. I mean, I'm still friends with these people. They're still very cool. They're still honestly some of the only Christians that are still actual cool people and not like the kind who want to take people's rights away. They actually want people to have rights. So there's not many of those, but I'm glad that I'm still friends with these people because they are, again, the real deal, like live and let live kind of like people, kind of Christians. And that's anyway. What was I going to say? Oh, so anyway, so I was staying the night at their house, right after, we did the Saturday. It was honestly, so it was Sunday night after church, and I had stayed there kind of talking or watching a movie, whatever we used to, whatever we were doing the night. And I get my stuff packed up, and I start heading back to town again, 45-minute drive, most of it like 35 minutes or more through darkened fields, rice fields in the country. Most of it. There's not a lot of, okay. And so you can already see where this is going. So I am just coming out of, they lived kind of on the edge of town where like I could kind of like, it was very easy for me to like slip out. I didn't have to like make a bunch of turns, go through whatever, So I started to head out of town, and I came to like there. It's weird. I always try to explain the way the roads were there. So their road that like the church was on, and then their neighborhood, the access to their neighborhood was on. There was like, it would curve around, but there was a road that jutted off of that I would turn on, and I would drive on that for about less than a mile, and then turn on another road that immediately did like a 90-degree turn and another 90-degree turn. And then I was heading straight for like 10 minutes in dark fields. Then I would turn left and head straight in dark fields for the rest of the time. Okay, so I'm on that first turn, that little, not even half a mile till we get to that first road. And I'm driving, and it kind of, again, it's very clear, like there's no trees or anything. It's mainly fields, like a couple, like a house here and there, and then nothing. I was coming kind of around this like little curve area, again, no trees. So I say that because I don't know why I didn't notice this when I turned onto this road. So I noticed that up ahead, it looks like what I think is maybe a plane flying just above the road, but it is like, so it was just above the road. And when I say that, so there are power lines on this road and everything. It had to be maybe a foot from the power lines. Whatever it was that low. And it was kind of flying at an angle above the road, like kind of off on my side, above the power lines. No like issue, like flying into it. And I'm like, why is that dude flying so low? And I'll describe the object now. So it was, I'm trying to think exactly how many circle lights. It was just giant off-white circles of light in a V formation, which is, when you think about it, if you go look up YouTube or UFO sightings, it's a very common UFO, is this V shape with lights. And I think it was about 4 or 5. I think it was about 5 that formed a V, right? Kind of flying over the road. And my first thought is, this idiot is going to get me killed. Like, what is he doing? Why is this person flying so low? And again, so this road isn't very long. I get to the part where I'm going to turn and do those 2 90-degree turns. And there's a big field kind of out here that 90-degree turn turns around, right? Those 2 90-degree turns. You turn at the corner of that field and go to the last end of the field, and then turn and head off straight away from it. But as I turned onto that first road to make the first 90-degree turn, I noticed that it veered off into that field and was doing like going back and forth like this, like, shoo, shoo, almost like, and I didn't until, and I'm getting chills saying this, years later, listening to podcasts about this kind of stuff, I never knew that it was actually called pendulous motion.
Yeah.
And it's the motion, and someone said that in a podcast. It took me back. I had a flashback, and I was like, oh my God. If you think about how a leaf, when it falls from a tree, kind of does like a shoo, shoo, like back and forth, big like sweeps down slowly. This thing was doing that it wasn't a huge field, mind you. What plane does this?
Yeah.
Right. So I make that first turn. It's over in this field off to my left now. Back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, this thing's following me. This guy's following me. Dear Mothman. I pulled into a gravel side road of a field and backed out and started heading back towards town. And I mean, I was booking it back, trying to get to the headlights. I'm like, I'm going to stay with my friends because I don't want like this thing. I'm done. That thing, like that guy. And at that point, I'm still going, that whoever that is flying that plane, whatever the hang glider, is going to crash into the road and kill me if I'm not careful. So I turn around, and again, I can kind of see it's still kind of like out there doing the voo, 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 voo. So I go down that little mile road, and I turn onto the road that goes past the church and gets to the access of where, you know, my friend's neighborhood, like where the neighborhood where their house was. I'm driving down that road. I'm starting to get back into civilization, but right before I get to civilization, you know how like houses, like out in the country, some of them like will plant a row of trees along the road.
Yeah.
You know, it's very clearly planted by people. So I pass this house, and they have like a row of trees, and I'm driving, and I just happened to look out my driver's side window, and just on the other side of those trees is that thing keeping up with me, where I can see it through my driver's side window. Oh my God, I started praying. I started doing all this, like, please don't let them take me. Please don't let them, because at that point I'm like, this is a UFO. I don't know what this is. This is not a plane. That thing is keeping, or whatever it is, it's following me. And I was like, I was absolutely scared shitless. So it stayed with me like that for a bit. And then I think I can't remember exactly what it did after that, but I get to my friend's house, and their house was set up weird. The driveway, they had a detached garage and then like a fenced in backyard, and you kind of entered through the back because the driveway was in the back. There was no driveway in the front. So I get to their driveway, I pull in, and I'm running through their back gate, and I'm banging on their door. Like, let me in, please. And I explained to them what's happening, and they're like, let's go look. To which, I'm with people, I'm not alone. I was like, yeah, let's go look, because I don't want people to think I'm crazy. So we go out, we're waiting. So my friend was the wife, my other friend, the female friend, was pregnant at the time with their first child. And we were waiting on, you know, me and Michael is the husband's name. We went out and we're talking on the deck kind of about everything, like trying to see if we could see it. And while she was getting ready to go, and as we're sitting there talking, it flies over a couple houses down one of their neighbor's house, like one of their neighbor's houses. And it barely made a sound, but you did hear like like almost like a low, quiet helicopter, but not even a helicopter, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense. But he saw it as well, and we're like, what is that? It's so weird. So we all cram into their little pickup truck, and we're driving around looking, and we ended up, when we drove out the way I was going, and we looked back, and in the lights of the city out there in the fields, we saw like this almost, I know I said V-shaped with that thing, and maybe this was the same thing. I don't know. We saw like a football shaped thing kind of like out there, like in the like silhouetted with the lights, and we're like, what is that?
Jesus.
So then we went back home. We talked about it again for hours, had a cup of coffee because at that time I could have a cup of coffee and then go to bed. And then I slept there, got up when it was broad daylight and drove home looking over my shoulders. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A week or two later, I think it was a week later. So it was a small friend group who like they had like, so there was the husband and wife. The wife had sisters. We were all like, she had 2 other sisters and we were all friends. Like there was this whole big friend group. It sounds like Sister Wives. It's not. It was they were again, they were it was the cool version of Sister Wives. I'm just kidding. No,
brother husbands.
We were all friends, you know. We were all just kind of like hanging out and talking. We were all really tight. We hung out all week and talked all week and everything. So it kind of got around what had happened. And so the next weekend, the middle sister was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come down with you. I'm gonna ride down with you because we both lived in the same town. Can I ride down with you? And I'm gonna stay the night too and visit. And then like I'll ride back with you if that's okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." So we're on our way back after everything, right? And I'm telling the story when we're out driving in the fields. I'm like, it was just the weirdest thing. And I was explaining what it looked like. And no lie, out her window, the passenger window, way at the end of a field, so the farthest way I'd ever seen it. So I'm explaining to her and I go, and there it is. And she looks and literally shrieks in the car. It's the thing. And it flew. It was kind of like out there doing the pendulous thing. And then like I looked, then a little later, it was like over on this side. And she's like, no, what is this? What is this? And we get back to civilization and we were fine. But that right there, that entire experience. And again, you say the chills and everything. I get nervous telling this thing because it's not something you don't feel in control. Yeah. When something can be everywhere you're going, that it shouldn't be like that. Like it shouldn't be like it was like a movie. It felt like a movie is the weird thing.
Yeah. And
there it was. And again, like I had other people who saw it as well. And it's just it makes me to this day, I'm like, what was that? And I've looked back. Apparently there have been a lot of UFO reports in that area and everything like that. I think a couple people have seen something kind of like that, which again, it's always something kind of different. It's never like the same shape thing, all the time when it comes to that kind of stuff, apparently. But yeah. And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was little green men. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was that or whatever. Yeah. But it wasn't a plane. And it kept up with me. And that to this day, stop it, Brian. Stop it, Brian. The men in black are no joke. The men and women and the people in black are no joke. Is what they should be. Like they're opening up their ranks to more UFO demons. It's fine. Any UFO demon is now welcome in their ranks. That's what I hear.
Very inclusive.
Very, very inclusive. When they go horrify people who have seen UFOs. But yeah, and again, so that's not the only one that I have. But I don't like. It's just I don't know. It's to this day I'm a little. I don't know about you. I'm a little more open to having those experiences now than I was when I was a little more religious. I think it was at the time it was kind of challenging my beliefs a little too much. I think I was a little like, whoa, if that's real, then you know, what is life? What is perception? Is what I'm perceiving really there? And the thing that my friends are perceiving now, and again, all stone cold sober people, we're all cool now, but back then we were very much nerds. Who did not do any of the illicit substances. Yes, UFOs is the devil. Brian, I literally had someone tell me that they think that they're demons trying to draw people away from God.
Or angels.
Angels. Oh, the angels. And you know how they said they're scary in the Bible, you know?
Be not afraid.
Yeah. Well, I got news for you there, Gabriel. I'm afraid. I'm very afraid. You have eyes on your fucking wings, sir.
You're so scared.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to share, or anything like any other experiences, or if you guys in the chat, if you have any experiences, please share them. Please, please, please. We'd love to hear about them. We're not going to laugh at you or anything like that. This is, again, a safe place. We'll laugh at ourselves plenty. So we're not going to laugh at you. Yeah.
We are hilarious beings. I mean, I can go way more recent and talk about our little buddy Annabelle, who is
please do, yeah,
a little sweetheart. Because I reference her a lot, but I've never actually explained what I'm talking
about. Rambunctious nerves, yeah,
a little cutie. So we moved into this house like 2019, right before the pandemic happened. And the room that I'm in, oh yeah, it's a panini. It's a panna cotta. Like the Mercury is in Gatorade. So we will see.
Yes, exactly.
So this room that I'm in right now is our den.
Right.
And as you can see, like we've made it the nerd room. We've got Star Wars all over the place. We've got Gundam in that back corner. Right here I have my shelf of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well as Transformers, all this lovely stuff. But a problem that we have had since we put up these shelves is that very specific action figures, not all of them, just like a handful, like there's a specific one of John's Predators that's on the shelf back there. Or Raphael at the top shelf, or sometimes even Donatello. They fall.
Donatello.
Yeah, like they just... they're not up near the front of the shelf. We put stands on them. Right above me is my shelf of horror icons that I absolutely adore, including a little Annabelle from the Conjuring series.
Right.
I have the Three Kids from Halloween 3, one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it so much. The Skull Kid. It just kept falling off the shelf. Like none of the other ones would fall. It's just that one. I've glued his joints. I've put him on a stand. Every time I put him back up there, he falls down. And so, in October of 2019, I felt a little goofy, little new spook goofing. And I bought a little Raggedy Ann doll. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this look like Annabelle. Because I like having fun. So I dirtied her up. I'd get her out of the case, but I also don't want to open the case. For obvious reasons. Yeah, I put some like red paint on her hands to make her look like she was bloody and whatnot. And I was like, oh, this is cute. I'm going to put her on our Halloween tree. And she sat there for a while. But then I found at a thrift store a case that's, a pretty good looking glass case that looks just about the right size, and a little rocking chair to put in there. Not only that, I also found a little tarot deck that I put the Devil tarot card in the door. And I made a little replica of the Annabelle case in the woman's house. It got worse after I did that. So more stuff started falling off shelves. Like, it wasn't and I will say, like, this whole time I'd been feeling something in this room. It's not negative, but it's definitely something. It's always a little stifling in here, but it's also where my stuff is. Like, so I don't really have a choice. You're not gonna not go
in there.
Exactly. So I asked for some advice from my witchy friends, and they were like, oh, you essentially gave something in your house a focus point. So maybe, I don't know, spend some time with it, smudge the house, like do something.
Maybe take it to the zoo.
Maybe, have a day with Annabelle. And
she
that's
just
what
wants
I've
a Happy Meal. I mean, come
exactly.
on.
She wants the grown-up Happy Meal.
That's all they want.
Yeah, like that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years is I'll talk to Annabelle. I have candles around her box that I've lit when like it gets a little spooky in this room. Like I've got incense, but
that's her right behind you too, right? That's the
kind of off
glowing
the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of these days I'll post a picture. But yeah, like she's just here. I've never felt a bad presence, but I've also never felt like a positive one either. Like it's a passive,
right? Very
spirit.
Neutral, ghosty.
Exactly.
Very Slimer of it,
Very Slimer. She just
and not the real Ghostbusters version, the one in the movie that actually like roars and stuff.
Exactly. The fun Slimer, the nasty Slimer.
The one that slimed, people who are probably assholes in real life.
Exactly.
Like yeah.
Yeah, like it's just my life. I live with a little doll, and I think that the reason that we are so open to stuff like this is because we've experienced phenomena in general and are open to experiencing others. Like it is a wide spectrum of phenomena. Like I don't know exactly what Annabelle is, but she hangs out. So whatever.
Yeah. There seems to be two big reactions. I think there's many like subtle levels underneath these two big main things, but I think people go one of two directions after experiencing something. Is they either, one, just shut up about it and stop talking about it and don't want you to talk about it, and they're, or you dive headlong into it, and any variation of that, like, oh, I want to tell everyone, or I want to look into this. I want to have another experience. I want to do this. I want to know what that was. I want to know more. I don't want to know what it was, but I want to experience it again, like different ways of, and actually, so the most recent experience that I had, was a couple years ago again. So I was still married at the time, it was like right after, our kiddo was born. And so we had gone to one of the elders of our church's houses for like a dinner party or whatever, like just us going over for dinner, hanging out, having a beer and stuff like that. It was, it was what it was. We talked, we were hanging. And so we were starting to head back. And mind you, I had never seen anything I'd only ever seen things on my own. I'd never seen, again, my friends saw the one thing, but I'd never like had an experience where someone was with me when we experienced this as like something at the same time together for the first time. So we're on our way back home from this person's house, and we're driving again through the fields and everything, outside of civilization a little bit. And as we're driving, way up ahead, all of a sudden, it looks as if someone just turned on like one of those, just like, looked like someone just turned on the closet light in the sky. Just like one little, like a light just goes boop, like into existence. I'm like, wow. And I pointed immediately. I was like, do you see that? And my ex-wife was like, yes, I do. So we're like, okay, that's weird. And she's like, whoa, what is that? We're like, what is that? What's going on? That's so strange. Okay. We start to get closer to this thing. It's not moving. It's just like, again, it was like a spotlight came on in the sky, not like a shining down, but just like I don't know how to explain it. Just like that light, just like a light just comes into existence and just sits there. as we get closer, we start to see little lights on the sides. We're like, oh, okay, that we're starting to go, oh, that looks like a plane. That's just a plane. Okay, we're like, okay, whatever. So we continue to talk, as we're driving home. And then I kid you not, I get to a point to where I realize that thing hasn't moved since we saw it, like at all. It's in a fixed point, whatever it is. And it's like, again, we're thinking it's a plane. We start to get closer. The lights that we saw on the side, like little red and green, are moving around whatever it is. It, no lie, looked like they had just like a Star Wars parking brake in the middle of the sky, floating about maybe 200, 300 feet, like 200 feet above this field, just in the middle of, and we ended up like just driving right past it. Here it is, just hanging in the sky, and we just drive right past and go, there it is. And I could see nothing underneath it. It was just a little thing, little pod in the sky. Again, had that big light on the front, and then the little ones kind of going around, and she's, were those lights moving around it? Kind of thing. And then we're talking about that on the rest of the drive, and we get to a point where we're almost home, and she goes, let's stop talking about it. So she's one of those people where and I, again, that was, by that point, that was like my fourth weird, like, what the hell was that thing?
What is wrong with Michigan, just in general?
Well, and most of them were in Arkansas.
Oh, well, what is wrong with Arkansas?
I will say with this one, so we saw that fall. It was around this time of year. That fall, every time we would leave the city limits to go somewhere, like to drive to church in Grand Rapids, like a few, like 30 minutes away on the interstate, or we went to do something in Lansing and stop to eat and everything. And on our way back on the interstate, we would see that light would come on. Sometimes, almost every time, a light would come on at least 5 more times. And the next, most of the time, it was me alone. And my ex-wife saw it a second time when we went to Lansing and came back. It popped on. And I go, look, there's another. She goes, just ignore it. Didn't want to talk. And so I know that we did see something. And so that's, again, it's just one of those things. It's like, and I wanted to respect that for her, and things like that, because it isn't for everyone. But at the same time, it's because that stuff very much makes you question the nature of your reality. Absolutely. And if your framework is so fragile that I can't add aliens into that equation, it's going to mess you up. Or I can't, whatever that is, it doesn't fit. Like, my house of cards will come tumbling down. So I'm going to pretend that thing doesn't exist. Which again is survival, things of that nature. But, and some of us let the whole house of cards fall, and now we're here. We do podcasting about Star Wars, and occasionally when the mic is hot and our other friends aren't around, we'll talk about this stuff on mic and
have fun,
get weird, talk weird about, but have people question our sanity. It's great. We do it every day, so don't worry. It's fine.
Just call us Gambit, because we're tapping your house of cards.
Absolutely.
Kevin Spacey.
Oh, real quick, shout out to Armando. Nice to see you, friend. It's been a while, but thank you very much. They're it's nice. Again, that kind of stuff is nice. Like, it's nice to have people validate what you saw, because again, we didn't want to.
No,
that's the thing. We didn't ask for that to happen. It just kind of happened. And that's the nature of this thing. Is almost, it feels like it wants to be seen. It just wants you to see it. That's the whole point. Is it just, for some reason, it wants you to see it. There's something of a podcast we listen to. They talk about it almost seems like we complete a circuit with this thing, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And it's there. It's not that it doesn't exist, but that there's something about right place, right time, and you seeing and being aware that it clicks into place, and there you are. It is.
Yeah.
And it's
I walked through those woods like thousands of times. I don't know what was different about that moment. Like,
right.
I don't know what I did different, or what was, or was I at a point where I was more open to that kind of thing? I don't know.
Right.
But it happened. And now here I am. You know.
Yeah. We don't need you guys to tell us like, oh wow, I believe you that it happened. It's nice.
No.
But we know that it happened because
I know what I saw.
We know what we saw. And listen, we're not going to be. We're going to be coming to the back alley of a diner near you. Probably our first tour. That's what our first tour of our show should be. I think.
Step back to the Waffle House.
Tour back alleys of diners.
Just recreating the scene from Mulholland Drive, wherever we go.
Right. Exactly.
We will become the man behind the Winkies if possible. Like that is
absolutely.
That is prime high strangeness.
Yes, no, absolutely is. And like, yeah, if left to our own devices, guys, we are going to do weird, creepy shit. And again, that's just our nature. We love it. And we hope you've really, I hope you guys have enjoyed kind of hearing our trauma and all of that. It's fun to talk. It is fun to talk about. As much as it fills you with that primal fear. Mm-hmm. It does. It feels good to talk about, you know?
Oh, yeah. Being heard and understood is an essential part of human nature. And it is a wonderful part of human nature to have friends who get it. Yeah.
Right. Well, and yeah, again, like, it is so hard to describe to someone who's never experienced anything like that. And I was going to get into a little thing I was going to tell too is like, have you ever had the feeling of dread? And I was say this real quick, then we can wrap this up or anything. Have you ever had like the feeling of dread, which people talk about that, like in the complete, like uneasy, it's different than being afraid.
Absolutely.
It's different than, oh, you just saw a creepy place and it made you feel weird. No, it's more than that. I've had this at we went to, my dad and I went when I was I might have been about to graduate or in college, can't remember. We went to one of his cousin's houses to get something or whatever. He was moving into a new house or whatever it was. I forget what exactly. And we were over there, and there was this door that opened in the middle of the house that had steps to a basement. And there's not many basements in that part of Arkansas and everything, so it was something to see. Mm-hmm. But I opened up this door to the basement and kind of stood in the doorway, and I have never felt like this in my life before and never since. I had an intense, just absolute dread of like, it's like primal, like my lizard brain was like, don't go down there. Do not, whatever you do not go down there. Don't go down there. There is danger, or so, not even like that. Just like, I don't know. It was worse than fear. It was like and again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you were really afraid. It's fine. No, this was broad daylight, right in the middle of the city, like a busy highway right outside going by. Like we're in the middle of civilization. I'm fine if I'm in the middle of like a bunch of people, kind of like that. My dad was right there and his cousin right there. It was just an old dirty basement, like brick cinder block. Why was I so like, why was there that immediate when I opened the door, don't go down there. Do not get away. But also being frozen to the spot. But I don't know if you've experienced anything like that, but it is like an odd sensation.
Dude, my dad is from Louisville, Kentucky. My entire family pretty much is from Kentucky. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the sanatorium. It's there. It is a very famous old tuberculosis sanitarium, Metallica, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was not too far away from where my dad grew up. And so we're driving around the city, just seeing the sights, driving by the projects where he grew up. And we drove by that building, which is just a building from the outside. Yeah. And I got that dread. I had no idea what it was until my dad, explained it much later. But I felt exactly what was inside that building, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it is an awful, awful feeling. Ugh. I want to go back someday, but that's
right.
The masochist in me.
Well, and I mean, like, we're both kind of similar in that, like, I don't want to, but I also really want to.
Yeah, I want to go inside. I do guided tours.
I want to test it out again, right? But yeah, no, it's almost as if something is letting you know, like, or whatever. It's almost like it's like it's that latent instinct or whatever, but it's also like, hey, I'm here. Something is what if you're so inclined to believe something like that. But again, we say take things with a grain of salt, whatever. We're not telling you have to believe us, because again, we don't need your validation. It's nice, but we know what we saw. We do, the whole 9 yards. It is what it is. But Boop, I guess we should probably plug our soon to come show once again before we leave. Guys, check out our show soon to come. If you again hold us to it, if you've enjoyed any of what we've done tonight, or even the spooky season, if you enjoyed Boop and I's general presence and chemistry, then please gas us up, fam. Gas us up to get this show off the road. But we are, and if you're just joining us and don't know, we have been playing around with a year or so of starting a creepy paranormal / mental health, kind of like just hanging out, chatting with buddies podcast. And I believe we've settled on the name of Weirdin' Out, a podcast. Was a podcast about the weird, for the weird, by the weird. And I don't know, we're excited to kind of get it off the ground. Tweet at us if you don't follow us on Twitter. I'm gonna I'm at the Canon Junkie, and I'm gonna let Boop give their stuff right now. But follow us and let us know what you want us to talk about as well. But go ahead, Boop. Where can the wonderful people out here in the Bombad fam find you if you so want them to?
If you want to find me, go up to your bathroom mirror and make sure it's slightly ajar, like if it's a medicine cabinet, and then do your normal morning routine, brush your teeth, and then close the cabinet. I'll be standing right behind you. That's all you need to do. Every single time. It scares the crap out of Scotty. But you know what? That's how we became friends.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It works with just the regular mirrors too, which is weird. I don't know how that works, but it just somehow it does. It's like all of a sudden, like, whoa, I didn't see you there.
That Boop magic, baby.
The Boop magic, baby.
I actually carry around a screwdriver.
Yes. Oh, as like all people should. I'm just kidding. Don't carry on a screwdriver. That's actually why Scotty is away. Yep, maybe we'll see.
They're kissing.
But I want to plug too. I'm going to be on Nerd Herder tomorrow night talking about the legacy of Haunting of Hill House. Right.
Yes.
So subject of which I know very little about, but I'm excited because I like haunted houses.
That's fine, man. We're just going to be vibing and having fun, talking about a very, very old story and the creation of an entire genre. That's the plug. If you like spooky stuff, go for it. Hang out with us. We'll have you there.
You and John have been really covering, you are more doing the horror thing more so than we are. We've kind of been spooky adjacent on Bombadcast and everything, but you guys are really putting in the hard work, dissecting all of the good horror tropes, all the good like Jason, Friday the 13th, all that kind of stuff, So
Yeah.
Go check that out. Seriously, if you guys haven't.
It may surprise you, but I can in fact read. It's been a joke this entire time. And the books that I do read, like they have a lot of horror to them.
That's awesome. Oh, listen, we're already getting some gasoline here. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Listen, babe, it is recorded in a dumpster.
We will buy a dumpster and spray paint the name of the show on it, and that is what we will tour. That being dragged around by a golf cart. That is what we're going to be touring in. Come if it ever comes to that, and let's be honest, it will, because it's Boop and I. So, you know, whatever.
It's true.
Yeah.
Listen, we will tour dumpsters around the continental United States and also Montana, which doesn't actually exist.
And look, it's low hanging fruit, but we'll call it the dumpster fire tour. It'll be great. You'll love it.
I'm so down.
She already is. Did you guys not hear her talking? Yeah.
Like, I will set
Annabelle
one up.
Oh yeah, the Annabelle cam. Let's go to the Annabelle cam. Yeah. Annabelle
done the
student loan forgiveness. Yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't see her as a hardline Republican. Anyway, no.
I suffered, so should the new children too.
Oh, I was able to go by just waiting tables. Anyway,
kids today.
So, Sib, thank you so much for hanging out with me and doing this thing that we, again, love to do.
Of course. We were gonna do it anyway.
Well, no, we're gonna sit here and talk whether we're on the stream or not. But let me see. Again, don't worry, Scotty will be back again. Scotty's coming back from his cruise with he literally is on a cruise with the members of KISS. That is literally what he is doing. That's not a bit. That is the literal thing. And so
there are pictures to prove it.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully him and Paul make it back safely and everything. It's not so often that people are that close with their neighbors, but I'm glad Scotty is with Paul.
I don't think he has a choice.
Yeah. Hopefully straight jacket free. We'll have to see.
No. It's my white button up. Yeah. Not on the town.
If I want you at home, all I need is my mirror.
It's true. I'm already there.
That's how it is. Yeah, everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere you want to be, like MasterCard, or Visa. It's Visa, isn't it? Visa's
what's in your wallet? It's me. I'm there.
Well, listen, guys, please check out Nerd Herder tomorrow. Patrons, I'm going to be reading that book by myself, or whether you're there or not. So show up and get spooked Star Wars style with me. Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo and Chewbacca and the droids were in this book for a little bit, and they're coming back. So come back and see them get spooked. And also Hyperfocus with Nikki Kumar of Imperial Senate Podcast. Please show up. Boop is going to be there in the comments for sure. And I'm betting you're coming on after calling in to ask the B question.
I don't have an answer for Nikki.
We've got to get him on the chart. He's got to be on the chart. So, this is all just business at this point.
Business as usual.
Right. Of course. All the time. But listen, we're going to do a little thing to kind of like take your nerves off after that like harrowing journey through Boop and I's trauma. But let's go ahead and let's add a little bit of levity here towards the end of the night. And then, then we'll kind of kick this pig into the sun. I'm going to let you end it whenever we come back from it. But, guys, here, have some Folgers.
This is your wake-up call. Time to reach, go for it all. Folgers stirs inside of me, and I know what I can be. The sky. Hey world, watch me fly. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And I said we're gonna do levity to get your nerves off, but now right back into the nightmare fuel territory. And before I send us there, Boop, what should the wonderful, creepy people do this Halloween season, and honestly, every day of their lives?
Every single day. You know, there was a part of that story that I left off that, you know, was just a bit too scary, a little bit too on the nose. Right before I started running to my friend Jenna's house, I heard a voice, and that voice, it leaned in just next to my ear, and it whispered, "Stay Bombad."
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Jackie. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is it? Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A soundless disregard, a broken bottle top,
and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer.
If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways. Come on,
change. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
and no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Time for us to take a break, but we wouldn't dream of being gone for long. See you in a little bit.
Not only did Scotty beat Jared, I beat Jared as well. This is a little known fact. Jared got his ass handed to him in Star Wars trivia by Scotty Jero, but not only Scotty Jero, by Gerry the Canon Junkie Cable. That's me. That's me. I also beat Jared in trivia. Don't y'all forget it. Go tell him. Go tell him. Go right now. Go right now. Go tell him. Tell him that we beat him in trivia and he's never going to beat us again. He's never going to beat us in trivia. We own him. We own Jared. We owned him in trivia. Elfrona,